We might ask them if they can. They gotta be able to.
Oh, yeah, they can.
monogram old dogs that were in.
They do.
But there's something to think about.
Absolutely.
I got you.
All right. I better move my mic. All right. Bring the meeting to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please take roll?
Councilman Madsen?
Here.
Councilman Montoya?
Here.
Councilman Kaufman? Councilman Allison?
Present.
Mayor Graves?
Here. You have before you an agenda. Would like to add, we have a couple of changes to the agenda before we move to approve it. I'd like to add under new business, item number 7, SRE for the airport. We have a bid that we need to discuss. And then I would like to add executive session before adjournment for personnel reasons.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with this noted additions.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You should have in front of you paper copy and or electronic the consent agenda items for the purpose of discussion. Would entertain a motion to approve and place to record the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have discussion? I have one for you, Candy. Let's pull out the electrical connections incorporated invoice. And can you maybe expand or explain on that invoice for us, please?
Yes, I can, Mayor. So this is an invoice from Electrical Connections, ECI, for the Black Mountain Electric Phase 2 project. This invoice is for materials only. No labor is included on this. Bar Engineering, our engineers on the project, have reviewed this, and along with Preston Meyer, who's our electrical superintendent, have reviewed this, and they have signed off on this invoice. If you have questions in particular, Preston is here, and Darren Casey from ECI is also here. And it does hold out the required retainage.
So I guess these materials then are either in use or stockpiled and accounted for and
That's installed material.
installed material.
Roofed and installed.
Roofed and installed, okay. No. there any further discussion?
Candy. Just real quick on the street department budget expended portion, we're at about the 50% mark, and I see their budget's almost 70%. We have a couple big hits coming in. Well, on the street department, their expended budget's almost 70%, and
So
we're at the 6-month mark. I was just curious.
they did all their street projects in late summer, early fall.
Right.
So they won't have any street projects this spring and
Okay, so we're not on a fast track one way over. Gotcha.
It looks like it's running hot,
Yeah. Perfect, thanks.
Case of beer. I would like to commend the police department for zero overtime they have. I might change here directly, again.
You, Candy, you brought Ken Buney out of retirement?
yes, we did, just for about 3 hours, but 4 hours maybe, but yes.
You can tell them, Preston.
Needed some help at new substations and preferably our own that could be here quick and help out shorthanded during that cold snap, that big outage. And knew what he was doing, and he could be there fast, so he was willing and it was appreciated and would have been longer without him.
Yeah, that's great.
It was a lot of good help.
Since that outage, have you replaced that insulator that went bad?
Yep.
Thank you guys for your due diligence during that outage.
We appreciate it. I'll make sure they know too.
Candy, I see under your notes, you're preparing for the surplus auction and then cross-referencing with the ambulance report says no longer in service can be returned. Will that be back in our hands to put on your auction?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to have a return to us by February 15th, so this week. Yes, we'll include that on the auction.
And then they just picked one up from Basin.
And when the hospital district purchased, yeah. Yeah, it was based in Wyoming.
Right. Sorry, not Basin
Yep.
Electric.
Any other comments on the consent agenda items?
For me.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. Moving on to petitions, memorials, proclamations, and public comments. Now is the time for our smiley public comments.
Oh.
One of these days, she's gonna catch me in the parking lot of the store, and she's gonna get even with me.
Hi. Yeah, Kathy with the Chamber of Commerce. In the last month, the Chamber had our 25th annual Egg Appreciation Banquet.
Nice job, by the way.
It was really a good success, thank you. We had a good turnout even with the snow. We had over 230 people that came, so that worked out really good. The egg business of the year was the Mill Iron Meat Company. We incorporated this year our silent auction for our scholarship program, and we did well. we did really well. We didn't hit our goal, but it's because I have lofty dreams, but we did very, very well. At the banquet, we also mentioned again, as last fall, we had our business awards, and so we recognized them again, and they greatly appreciated that. The business award for over 10 employees was Superior Contracting, and under 10 employees was Western Coffee Company. So that went well. We had a lunch and learn, and Representative Harrelson was able to speak and said that there was a very large amount of bills being presented this year. That he said he's never seen that many. There's a lot of them going through. I know he's particularly passionate about getting rid of gun-free zones. That's his push this year. I know there's a few that affect municipalities. I don't know the details of them, but should you come across them and have any questions, you can call Shauna. Don't call me. I don't know anything about it. But she's been working with Jeremy, and so she knows things I do not. So that is what we have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She didn't. No. Your turn, Tracy.
Well, good evening. I trust you've seen the economic wellness report for January, and there wasn't a whole lot of movement in any of the areas. Sadly, our school enrollment was down a little bit more when you compare to last year, year to year. So I got a report that there's 884 students enrolled, and last year there was at the same time 902. So that's a little bit down. Housing was steady. Construction was pretty steady. Employment report was again pretty steady. I know last month our unemployment mirrored Wyoming state unemployment. This month, Wyoming State's unemployment was 2.5%, so it fell a little bit, and ours held at 3.1. Our sales and tax collections were up from previous months, especially in this specific purpose. So we're back in that over $340,000 collected last month. So lots of good things there. Just kind of giving you a little update about what's been going on. I met with Senator Brasso, his field representative Laura Curran, and then Senator Lomas's field representative Carmen Rossi. And they just kind of wanted to know what was going on in Platte County. So we sat down and had a good discussion. Basically, I think we focused more on that Halleck Creek mine than anything in our discussion. So I also talked with a guy named Joe Evers, and he's the legal counsel for the rare earth mine that is the one that is doing the mining out there at Halleck Creek. And so it was interesting to hear their take on it and his take on it. So I don't know if you guys have time to read the article I sent, but I think that was the most informative article that we've had so far. And Mr. Evers echoed everything that was in that article in terms of their excitement for the mining operation out there and the possibilities for it. So he shared, and as did the senators, field representatives, that if they pursue federal leases, they're looking at 8 to 10 years to even get those permitted. And then if they pursue state leases, they're looking at like a 3 to 4 year span. So obviously they're more interested in pursuing those state leases than the federal just because of the timeline. I also met with a hotel appraiser who's been working in the area, and they're working on a hotel sale here in Wheatland. And then the outage will be coming soon, I believe middle of March. And Levi Mickelson said it's going to be a long one, so it's going to last half of March, all of April, and then pretty much all of May. So stores and housing and everything should be pretty full. He said it's a big room. So kind of referring to what Kathy was talking about, we also met with Jeremy Harrelson, and he was talking about there's 89 bills presented and 400 in the queue. So he said in a 20-day session, obviously a lot of those won't ever see the light of day, but there is a lot on the docket. And he said another thing that's kind of holding them back this year is the Legislative Service Office staff turnover continues to be an issue. So he said that that's kind of holding things up as well. I know a lot of you probably heard about the property tax petition that was going around. He said that there were 26 bills on property tax proposed last year, and none of them got passed. So he thinks that'll be a pretty big issue this year with the push for people on at least addressing the price of property tax. I think, let's look at my notes a little bit, just to make sure that was about it. I will for sure keep you guys informed whenever anything comes up with the Halleck Mine project. I think that's going to be kind of the biggest thing down the road for Platte County in the near future. Even though all of the land that they've been testing on is Albany County, it's still going to have a big impact on Wheatland and Platte County. So we will, I think, be hearing quite a bit from him, and he did express interest in meeting with commissioners and town council members. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Anything on Wendy's?
Nothing new. Have you heard anything, Candy?
I even went to Torrington and looked for their Wendy's, and I don't see Wendy's.
No, they don't have it up and open yet.
Where's it gonna be?
My understanding is it's going to be out there where their other fast food things are along that highway. But
I think their standalone location fell through. They're gonna put it inside that truck stop.
oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Okay.
About the packing house.
Nothing there either. So I don't know if Linda King did call me a couple weeks ago, and she was wondering about new market tax credits, if Platte County had new market tax credits. And I told her that we don't qualify. I looked it up for her, and we don't qualify for those. And she wanted to know what counties close to us do qualify. And the closest ones would be Carbon and Niobrara. So I gave her that information. But nothing new.
Had to put you on the spot.
No, that's all right. Keep me honest here. Any other questions or anything that you need me to do or? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Is there any other public comment at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business item number 1, which is the Black Mountain Electric Phase 2 update. We have Darren Casey here with electrical connections. Would you like to take the podium?
Sure. Got an updated schedule and kind of an updated map here. Sorry, I didn't get them to you sooner, so.
Okay.
Maybe. Basically, where we're at right now is we are officially done with the corrections. Would you agree with that?
We're finishing that corner on Basin right now.
Right,
That's the
so
last spot.
there's maybe any corrections that need to be done are basically at this point complete. And so we have another, I think you've seen these And so we are proofing the last bit of existing conduit. The schedule going forward, this week we should have everything that we can proof from the existing stuff that's in the ground. We're gonna do the hot poles, is where we wanna go next. So there's a pole down 19th Street, an existing conduit into the new switch that we're putting in that we're gonna pull this week, and one out on, Preston, help me, what's the street off of 24th and out to
South,
south?
24th and South, from the last phase of that project going on South Street and the duplex brick homes by the REA. They left us a pipe there to pick up during this project, and that'll get pulled next.
That'll get pulled next. And then from there, we have our new drilling company coming on Wednesday or Thursday is what they said. And so far with them, I'm gonna anticipate Thursday at this point. So, they pushed us now, a week and a half. So, so Thursday is when they told me today that they will be on site. And they'll start down Mariposa, and we should, I put in this 3 weeks for the rest of the drilling. I'm hoping it will take 2. Right now, I have 4 guys on site right now completing the repair and patchwork. Next week, we're gonna add another 4, and they will start terminating in transformers and start powering. We want to make sure that we could communicate with everyone that there's going to be outages in houses coming up, and so we're going to get that word out late this week, early next on getting that done. The reason why we want to pull these last pulls primarily is to get that switch set on the corner of 19th and Hope, and then we'll start transferring power over. The last on the schedule, the last thing you see on there, so we should work right around. The last thing you see on there is spring break, which is mid-March. We should do the school, and then that should be about our demob site. Will be completely up everywhere else, and then we'll come back and do landscaping after that. We're figuring week to 2 weeks to maybe do landscaping, and we're gonna wait till the ground is and the weather is better than mid-March. Is our thoughts?
Switching on the electrical, is that gonna affect both schools on that side of the interstate,
No, just the one.
west or junior high?
West.
Have we talked to the school and told them?
School has an understanding it's gonna be soon, but on a solid date. The plan there is the machine's here today to actually test the cable, verify the cable itself's good. Shouldn't be any hiccups there. You know, main thing there looking for is manufacturer. Installation's good. I've been on site for just about all of it. So the cable shouldn't have any issues with it. We'll get the test going. And once that's in, we'll know a lot faster an exact date. I would like to keep it as set, stone solid as we can with it. You know,
How long's an outage gonna last, Preston?
at school, 6 to 8 hours. That's our biggest one. That's our worst case end of that. Just because it's so difficult to put
I
one
only
next
asked
to the
this
other.
question because my wife is,
Gotta keep the food good.
yeah. Guess who the first one she's gonna complain to?
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be that young lady, it's gonna be this
Yeah.
old guy.
So as soon as we can put a really solid date in, is when we're gonna let them know. They have an idea that it's coming up.
Would you entertain a generator?
Be arranged, definitely. I think a lot of it's gonna come down to is gonna be
She's got a lot
cold.
of food in there.
Are we gonna be experiencing weather? Is it gonna be warmer? You know, a lot of that's a little bit hard to tell still.
Right.
But we can definitely put a plan together with the school. If that's the way they wanna go, and they can start on that right away. I know it's a big concern. It's a lot of food.
A lot of dollars.
Just don't open the freezer door.
Well, I think you're gonna do it when the school's closed, aren't you?
Yep,
They're
the
not
plans
gonna-
to do it.
They're doing it when they're open.
Correct.
But you
But
still got food.
you still got food in
I
there.
understand that. I'm just telling you that I think that it may be an issue that if nobody's opening and closing those drawers, they'll stay just like the freezer at your house.
I think we're not experiencing pretty high temperatures, during that time. We should be floating right through that. And we'll be on site for all that to make that as fast as we can too, because that's a major overhaul. That's something we got to get back on as quick as we can.
Right.
And it's not an easy task. The transformers are so big, we can't just put them next to each other and swap over. I was going to go back in pretty much the same spot. And so it's going to be an undertaking, but we'll be there to assist with getting the old transformer out of the way and the new one on, and make sure everything's smooth and nothing has to be reworked. It's a one and done. And I'm seeing 6 to 8 if things aren't going very well for us. So I'd like a 4-hour mark if we can.
I'd like that too.
Yeah.
So I don't have to hear it.
And Darren, you're
You
gonna do
snicker.
the landscaping in April. What's that all gonna entail for the property owners?
Restoration to existing conditions. There's a few that we might even add them if they want to change up a little bit. The guy at the corner of Basin and 19th, where they were working today, maybe do a bunch of rock addition there. We're definitely going to get them back to the conditions that they were in prior to us doing any work.
What's the name of the new boring outfit?
It's Douglas Exploration
Out of Douglas?
out of Douglas.
I think it was brought up in the past, I think from David, maybe have we caught up or started the compaction testing that wasn't being done?
We haven't got the compaction testing yet. We've brought it up, Darren, quite a few times that they're pretty full force, gun in the head right now, that between demobilization and landscaping, it's going to be the best time.
Part of the reason that we don't, it's actually in our contract too, that we don't want to do it when the ground frozen or cold, and just to make sure that we're getting good compaction results for everyone involved. And so that's the reason there. So that'll be done, I would say, right before we come in for landscaping.
And sidewalks and driveways will be repaired too?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a list of landscape issues too? I mean, are we
We're
cross-referencing each other on that?
Sprinklers that are hit, things like that, so we don't miss them. We'll be really big with the homeowners and getting around at that point in time, making sure they're good. And then, of course, even after landscaping's done for a bit, making sure nothing happens then. But we've got a pretty good running list, keeping the homeowners involved to let us how they feel like. This is what we want, this is what we expect from our yards, to make sure that it's what they get.
Right, and it covers everything from non-yards to, like Councilman Allison said, sidewalks, leveling out ruts.
So we're encouraging them to be in touch with us as much as they need to. Let us know anything they have concerns, things they want to see done. Make sure they know we're addressing all their concerns.
So our electrical contractor, this is part of coming off of Candy's report. Last boring company, they had to go back and replace 61 splices. Is that done? Or are we still finding splices that need to be?
So at this point in time, we had every splice proofed that it's good now. We ran into a bit of a hiccup, just some cross pipes on the corner base in 19th. Getting that fixed, we shouldn't have to rework any of that pipe again.
Met all the depth requirements.
They lowered a lot of them and got them back to where they should be, documented before and afters.
Once completion a completion date is awarded, what's the warranty look like, or what's the a sinkhole? I mean, what's that look like?
Leaving the contract, we have 12 months to it.
I'm if there's things that show up later, I'm willing to come take part and help. If it's something that we didn't do right, we'll fix it. And I think we've proven that through what we've done so far. And I hope you guys realize that I mean, we're not here to leave a dump, and we're gonna get it back to where it was. We're gonna put in a good solid system that's gonna last for the next years and years, and that's our goal. And so we're gonna make it happen for you. I know it's taken way longer than anticipated, and we did not have the best subcontractor in place, but we,
Live and learn.
live and learn. So, and we're gonna get it through it, and I hope you guys, I hope, Preston gets to see the guys that are on my team, and I have a solid team that is getting things right and getting things in the way it needs to be done.
Yeah, because we're battling damage control every day. It seems like one of us, somebody gets an earful. Doug, maybe you can answer this. I mean, this 1-year warranty, I know what you're saying, and I trust you, but the question will be, is there a carrot retainage? How do we know we can get Darren to come back within a year and 9 months?
I haven't looked at that. There isn't much of a carrot, I'll be real honest with you. But not to disrupt it, you have a public hearing.
Yeah, I was watching it. Yep.
And it's 7:30.
So,
We can come
Aaron, we
back.
have to go into a public hearing and then we'll finish with you.
And this won't take that
Sorry.
long. These are
Yeah.
liquor licenses, they just have to approve.
All right, so do I need a motion to enter?
No, I think you can just go in
Just
public.
go into the public hearing. All right, it's 7:30, so we have a public hearing scheduled for the renewal of the town of Wheatland liquor licenses. We're just gonna do them in the groups.
I would suggest the groups, even so restaurant liquor license, Lost Amigos, and Tasty Treats.
Mayor, I put up a sheet.
I found it.
Okay.
And so, I guess I would entertain a motion to approve the restaurant liquor licenses, which would include Los Dominguez and Tasty Treats.
So moved. Second.
Is there any comment?
And it- public comment included.
Yep, public comment included. Anybody speak for or against?
So I have a comment. It's not for or against those people. And I don't know if this is the time to bring it up, but my concern is I see at the bottom that you're not renewing Nessie's restaurant. I'm assuming it's a restaurant license.
It was a bar and grill license and that was their choice.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, should I wait until you guys get down to the bar and grill?
Sure.
Okay. I'll register my comment then.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is there any further comment on the restaurant liquor licenses? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That will carry. So we'll move on to the group called the club liquor license. I would entertain a motion to approve the club liquor licenses to include the Moose Lodge and the Wheatland Golf Club.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any comment to include public comment for or against the club liquor license group? Excuse me. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion will carry. So we'll move on to the retail liquor license group. I would entertain a motion to approve the retail liquor license group to include the Landmark Bar, Bimbo's Restaurant and Bar, the Commodore Bar, I-25 Pit Stop, Safeway, Thrifty Foods, Big Dog Lanes, and Guadalajaras.
Make a motion to approve retail liquor licenses.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any comment to include public for or against the retail liquor license group? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that brings us to entertaining a motion for the bar and grill liquor license to include Windy Peaks Brewery and Steakhouse and Skipper's Lounge.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment or to include public comment for or against the bar and grill liquor license grouping?
Okay, so is this the one? Okay. So, I don't have any comment about Windy Peaks or Skippers. My comment is really about Nessie's Restaurant and Whiskey Bar. I see that you guys are not renewing that. My concern is like from an economic development standpoint, when you go past that building and you look at what it looks like now, I was hoping that there's something that the town council can do, and I didn't know if it could be tied to this. If you're not gonna renew it, that really won't matter, but, it looks so horrible. You know, the windows are boarded up, it's right next to our golf course. The siding, they've peeled the siding off, they've gutted the place, and now it appears they're walking away. So, I didn't know if there was something that the town council could do, as a carrot to make them, sell it or put it back or do something with it beyond just trash it and leave, So that was my concern. I was hoping that there was something that could be done with the liquor license, but I'm guessing not.
I've been going down the same path as your thoughts, because I drive up that street. One, when we did the bar and grill license, for the town defining what some of the requirements for a bar and grill was signage. Now, on the flip side, I think it would be fair to ask them to remove Hilltop Bar and Grill sign off that building. I know all summer, if I was up there golfing, some from out of town would pull in the parking lot thinking there was a bar and grill there. But if they're going to turn back the bar and grill license, it would be nice to have that, just take that sign down, because it's not a bar and grill. And what Tracy's saying, yes, it looks like a building that's been burned out and boarded up all the windows. I don't know if the building inspector, if there's anything, can I ask him?
A couple of things. I don't know what we can do, but usually the building, if they got a building permit, if I remember correctly, they have 1 year to complete the building project from the date that the building permit was provided. There's some things you can extend it for. You can't force them to remodel it inside out. I mean, they and leave it. It's unfortunate. I don't know what their plans are. Probably the building inspector or the planner can call them and say, where are we at on this?
That would be fair.
I
Because
can call, I'll call, I can call.
just so we know, and so they know where people are having some concerns about it. That would be the very first step. But I do believe building permits give them 1 year from the date that they're issued to complete. And then I think he can give them some extensions. I don't know when that was applied for or anything like that. But normally that's what, I think in the old building codes, that's what it was provided for, is about a 1 year.
I think that would be great. That'd be fair to ask him.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
we're
give
getting
him a call.
inquiries. And
I can do that.
Be a good investment property for somebody from Fort Collins.
There's no parking.
I don't think he wants to run.
You don't want to come back to Wheatland. Love you, Dan.
All right, we are with no further comment, or is there any further comment on the bar and grill liquor license grouping? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And the last one is the microbrewery grouping, so I would entertain a motion to approve the microbrewery liquor license for the microbrewery, which would include Windy Peaks Brewery and Steakhouse.
So moved.
second,
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or public comment for or against the microbrewery group?
we'll see how many more times you can say it.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion will carry. I believe that's the end of the public hearing, so we can reconvene our regular meeting. And Darren, you can go back to the podium.
I think the question was, how do we know about the 1 year and how do we make sure they honor their 1 year warranty? I think the engineers can say we'd like some retainage for the 1 year period, but I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it for sure.
So, I don't know that deep in the contract.
I don't either, but
I mean, I'll even, in my warranty, usually I have to provide a written warranty in my final docs. And so in my warranty, I'll put in there that I'd put it out for 3 years. If there's any concerns or issues or anything like that, that's based on our work, we'll be over here and do it. Typically, there's some sort of verbiage in there of if we don't show up in in a lot of time, then you guys have remedies. And so I'm not worried. We're gonna get it done right and make it right. So and if there are issues, we'll come fix them.
With the landscaping and legitimate some of the grass, I guess it's yards and sprinklers. Now, we subcontracting that out, or you guys doing it?
We're gonna have subcontracted that out a little bit. Some of it we'll do ourselves as well, but we'll subcontract it out as well. So professionally, there's areas that we're good and there's areas that we're not good. How's that for an answer?
No, the only real, I mean, kind of maybe stickler for a detailed question that I have for you, Darren, is the contract states that you should have been doing the compaction testing all along. And I get cold or frosted ground affects that, but given the winter that we've had, why are we not doing that? Why is that not?
If I cut in, we've been through to fix a lot of these spots. You get further up, you end up coming back to the one you just fixed. You know, such long poles. Up until recently, like the last week and a half, we haven't known we don't need to come back yet.
Okay,
That makes sense. So much recently and had to come back and open holes we didn't plan on opening again. That's why we have to fix some of the lights too. Let's make sure we're done here before we do the last steps to wrap up the spot. Are we gonna disturb it again or not? We're at a point where it's just about guaranteed with I'd say next week of work that we won't have to come back to these spots. And so that's been a big portion of it. There's been a few we've had to open 3 or 4 times. So
It's where you got a transformer vault and not set the transformer yet. Are you covering them holes?
they've been doing a good job of fencing recently. The real main rush right now is just try and get those holes gone. Let's be done with the fence, putting it back up and fighting that whole mess. And Randy's had a big push too. Let's get them done. Not fence it if it's not there. So they've been doing a good job with that.
You're probably getting tired of hearing from me.
Oh, I understand. Open holes are an issue. So we're running out of them.
Anything else for, excuse me, is anything else for Darren or Preston?
Good.
After you're done.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you, Darren, for being here and providing an update and an adjusted timeline. And I mean, it looks like completion is
It's
literally
there.
right
It's
there.
Yes. So I appreciate you guys. If you ever have concerns or questions, I know Candy and Preston both have my contact information. Feel more than welcome to reach out at any time, and I will answer your call and any of your constituents, whatever we can do to help make sure that you guys aren't feeling pressure and that everyone understands that we're taking care of it and want it done and done right. So, thank you.
No, I
Guys.
appreciate your due diligence. I mean, it's been trying for everybody. I mean,
And me is just as much as you guys. I had a full head of hair before this thing started, and it's a lot thinner now. So
no, appreciate your dedication.
And honesty.
all right. Well, thank you. I'm gonna head out. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Preston.
Thank you, guys.
Preston.
So unfinished business item number 2 will be ordinance number 848, which is an ordinance updating the Wheatland Municipal Code, and it's on second reading.
He just said.
Yeah. Right. Thank
So
you.
anyway, that's what he's telling us.
Thank you.
And then he'll let you know.
Yeah, okay, no, I get it, that's fine.
I need help.
They are supposed to.
I'm gonna get done. It's not
Okay, we're on ordinance 848.
Yeah.
Ordinance 848.
Yep, and it's proposed second reading. You've got the changes in front of you. Suggested changes in front of you for ordinance 848 on second reading.
Council, Preston and I and Candy met, and the suggested changes, I think, on that ordinance are on the second page. They come in section C and CI. I'm more concerned, and Doug knows this, I would guess by next reading, CI will need to come out. I don't think that's a legitimate legal option for the town. Where we just grant it because the quorum doesn't show up. And I've told Doug I had concerns about that. I could, if you want to keep it in this time, but I just want you to know that I've been checking into it. My legal opinion is that you can't do CI.
We can leave it in for second reading.
And I'll let you know for sure.
You know.
That's I'm real confident that it would have to come out.
I'll make a motion to approve on second reading ordinance number 848
With changes.
With the changes.
with the changes.
Second.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 848 on second reading with the approved changes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. New business item number 1 is the Hefner Simple subdivision. It is a subdivision within 1 mile of town limits. And would you like to speak to your report?
Sure, of course. So this is done. This was an application by Troy and Judy Hefner. Are they here tonight? I have not met them in person yet. It's only been by email.
No.
Okay, so they are not here. Thank you. All right, they are proposing a 5-acre subdivision on YO Ranch Road. It's going to be in between Cole and Gilcrest in the 20 block on the east side of YO Ranch, which is out in the county. It's going to be a pivot corner. Again, approximately 5 acres. Their long-term plan is to build a residency there and hopefully annex into the town at some point. But Platte County rules and regulations require any subdivision within 1 mile of a municipality get the approval of that town council before it goes on to the planning and zoning. So it's here with you guys tonight to see if we can get the ball rolling for tomorrow night's county planning and zoning meeting.
Mayor, there is a couple people from the public that have questions on this.
Okay. So, how do I do this? For the purpose of discussion, do we entertain the motion and then
Sure,
the
entertain
discussion?
and then
Yep.
for discussion, yes.
All right, so I would entertain a motion for the Hefner Simple subdivision request.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there public input or discussion on the subdivision request?
We were curious, we live right out there,
Across from it.
and we were curious as to the water line, the electrical, where that comes from, and it's in the county now, but they evidently want to annex it into the city limits. So how would they go about incorporating the water and the electrical?
So I know they're already hooked up to our water, electrical and everything else they're not.
The water comes from,
So I know 216 East Cole, which is the current property, and it's that long, about, it's a many acres that goes from Cole Street all the way down to the edge of the county there. That's all on our water as of right now. I also know Black Hills has a line out there that they can hook up to. As far as our electric, I'm not sure. They're not annexing in yet, so.
So they cannot hook up to our electrical unless they've been annexed.
I mean, we have done that. No,
No, not anymore.
just water is,
Well, aren't even doing water anymore,
okay.
but they would need to annex to get city services.
Okay, so so maybe so if they subdivide it and the house isn't hooked up to the water, they
No,
would
I
have
think-
to annex.
I don't think they can even hook up to water. That water goes to Jay House's property on East Cole, does it not? The town water. There's a water line, I think, that goes under Front Street out to Jay House. It wouldn't be to that property where they want to build, I don't believe.
Right, it goes to the 216 East Cole.
Right. So at this point in time, they would not have the ability, in my opinion, to hook up to the town water line. Because when that property was sold, House retained the house, all that area around their house. And they sold the
The
two
big
pivot.
farmland.
They sold the pivot on east and west side of Mr. House's
Right.
property. It's my opinion they could not hook on to the town water line unless they next into the town. And
Okay.
I don't know if that answers.
Kind of, I was just curious because they did put a new water line down on the west side of Bio Road, just before we, built there. And I was just curious that, look onto that water line, they'll have to go across the county road. Will that county road, city property as well?
But when you annex, you gotta talk about all those things. And so it would be one thing, because you'd have a stretch in there. I think we own the west half of that
We do,
road.
yeah.
And then we have this little section that we don't.
Yes.
But there are places like on 16th Street.
There's no
where-
question, yeah,
where
we have the same
we
problem
do
with
it.
other places. But yes, they would have, if the town allowed them to annex, they met all the requirements, they could hook on to that water, just like what we would do if they were on the west side. If somebody built on the west side,
Mhm.
and so they would have to meet those requirements, they'd tap in just like.
Like anybody would.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then the electrical also, when that was put in for us, the city paid half to go from Cole Street to where we're at. And then the city paid half, we paid half. So if they came off of that power grid, how would that affect, or?
Can't tell you. If you paid for half, you probably got a good deal. Normally it would have been
We did get a good deal.
I
I agree with
hate to
that.
tell you, normally it would have been 100%. And so, but
But if they were to come off of that, I don't know if they would come from that.
I can't tell you that. Preston's not here. Somebody at the electrical department
Okay.
would have to look at that.
I was just as if they would run a line down further to the north and cut across, or just cut it straight across, or.
I don't know that answer, Bill. That's why they have to file their annexation application.
Right, and we're not here to discuss
Right,
the
right.
annexation.
All right.
That's just their plans. Their plans could change. Right now, they just want to subdivide it, and
I have a
the
question.
next step. Yes.
Could you explain the difference of a subdivision and a simple subdivision?
So a simple subdivision is a larger piece of land, and you can only subdivide so many parcels. The total number is 4, and you can't go any smaller than a 5-acre parcel, which is what they're doing. The reason for that is if you go any smaller, we need to start getting engineering studies to make sure it can house the water and do all the drainage and all those different things. What you typically think of as a subdivision, a neighborhood. This is just, I own 1,000 acres. I want to build a house on 5 acres of it so I can still farm the other one and have a house here. So that's a simple subdivision.
Well, I guess my biggest concern, Bill, is, and I know none of you can answer this now, but whatever they do on that 5 acres, we just don't want it to devalue our property. And like I say, you can't answer that now, but, that would be a big concern.
So they can chop that 5 acres up into smaller parcels without doing a full subdivision process.
They could put more than one home on it, couldn't they?
It's currently zoned ag, so yes, they could do another house up there if they wanted to.
Which, that wouldn't bother me either, depending on what type of house they put there.
But it would have to be like a family or a workman. It would be something like that. They couldn't circumvent the subdivision process because it's still one piece of land.
Yeah, because like now, they have, of course, it isn't on that particular area, but they have Connex boxes and a old camper that they've been, which they needed because they're farm in the summer and they had a place to stay, but, yeah.
We're just curious, about, well, we're gonna put 3-4 houses in there, what are they gonna
Well,
do?
they're
Something
decent
like that,
houses.
but you said there's only probably gonna be maybe 2.
Right now, their plan is 1. Again, if they were to build 2, it would qualify for like a family house. There's sons living on the land. It's for agricultural purposes. I don't think this is what they want to do. They want to join the town. So
I understood they wanted to kind of live there, and I don't know if it's full-time year-round or what, but I haven't really talked to them.
And honestly, I didn't even know if they were here tonight, so I haven't met them in person yet. Everything's been over the phone and emails. So hopefully tomorrow night they should be there. So
Yeah, we'll talk to them or see what's going on, I guess. I've not met them, I've seen them.
So what does the city look at to determine whether you'll annex it or not?
It meets this, there's certain statutory requirements. I mean, if you meet those, we're almost obligated to annex it. And
as long as they're willing to hook up to all the different utilities and
Slim and everything
all those things, yeah.
As long as they meet the requirements.
They have public hearings on it. I'm just telling you, there's a statutory provision on requirements on annexation.
Right.
Well, we don't have a problem with them putting a home there or anything. We're just curious what takes place and what can be done and not done.
Other than that, I guess tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
That's the big one. Yep. And then the commissioners meeting a week later, assuming it gets approved here tonight.
Well, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor of the Hefner Simple subdivision, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry.
Thank you.
Tony, they're challenging your photography. You see that lightning they got? That's not the way to work it out for you.
So new business item number 2 is the Headgate Apartments replat. You're the popular speaker.
Well, hey. I do all right at it, right? Decent. So this one is by Dan Olin, who is here tonight. I did have met Dan, so he's right here. The Headgate Apartments are in the Country Club Addition subdivision. They currently sit on 3 lots of that subdivision. Dan would like to sell all those condominiums as one unit to a person. With it being on 3 lots, you can't, it's all intertwined. The deed would be horrible. They want to replat it so those 3 lots are just 1 lot, and then they're going to sell them off as 1/12th ownership of that lot, and there'll be
Individual
rules
units.
and how upkeep, and they're going to be responsible for 1/12th of whatever damages to the whole Headgate Apartments happens. So that's their plan, and that's why they want to replat it. And they, given the extra, the condominiums map and how they're planning on doing it. This was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 1st, and they did approve it and recommend it for approval for the town council.
Well, for the purpose of discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve the Headgate apartment replat.
So move.
Second.
Is there discussion?
So will the plat and then the condo map both be placed of record?
Yes, I believe so. The condo map is going
Yeah.
for record.
That's correct.
So when you sell one, you'll be selling condo unit number 1 of the final plat of the second edition, lot 1. Just thinking in my world how you're deeding this. I think Doug had the question also on his.
The reason you need to have that specified, and I think Dan understands this, is that when you go to sell it, somebody's gonna want a title commitment on condo number 1. And so it has to be over at the courthouse, either on the new subdivision plat or the mellow. I'm saying, yeah, we can look at it. It's one big lot.
I was just saying, as long as this guy's recorded with
Yeah.
it, then you can follow it and make the legal description.
And I think you're referencing the condo map that goes
Yes.
inside the overall
Should
replatted
be.
lot.
3 documents placed.
I want to introduce Mitch Edwards. He's our real estate attorney. Helped us draft up the declarations and the bylaws. But I think that what Doug Weaver just said is exactly right. You want to clarify for us?
Yeah,
So
so,
it'll be, how it'll be recorded, I guess, is the question.
yeah, so Honorable Mayor, Council members, Mitch Edwards. The first step in this is to do the replat from lots 1, 2, and 3 to just lot 1, so that the entire complex sits on one lot. Once that is completed, then there'll be the filing of the condominium maps along with the declaration that the state statutes require. That will refer to the condominiumization of the units, it'd be 1 through 12, on lot 1 as replatted. And so that will be placed of record under the state statutes once we get through this, because the declaration and the condominium maps will actually refer to the plat, lot 1, on that. So we have to have that recorded before we can complete the declaration and the condominium map to reference the plat map.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the other part was on there, so when you do your deeds.
They both go together, but the plat needs to happen first.
Yep.
Guy, Alan's a title. So. Lots of bolts.
Is there any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you again, Dan.
Thanks, Willie. So I'm selling, not buying.
Oh.
So clear.
Not fast enough, right, Dan?
No.
Hey, Dan, if that outage is longer than 12 hours, he may need a place to live, so.
Yeah.
I'll keep a hold of your number.
The garage.
You'll have one with his name on to sell.
Big deposit, though.
Advertise right to the Willie Allison address straight away.
See you, Dan. Thank you.
Item number 3 is the Steinhausen purchase and lease agreements.
Those are for you guys just to look at and decide. They're in the hands of Frank Jones, who's Mr. Steinhausen's attorney. I haven't had comments back from him. I think they meet all the requirements that we needed to, but Frank said he'd turn them around as quick as he could. Daryl sometimes is hard to get a hold of, but I talked to the mayor, and we have a backup plan, maybe if can't get hold of him. I think he's actually answered Brandon's phone calls occasionally. And so I think we're all okay. I know there's 3 documents. One's the purchase agreement, and then there's 2 leases. One lease is for the area where it collapsed that provides for certain conditions. And then the other one is the, for the hangars that still exist that he can still use. So, and they're described specifically in Exhibit A, A and B. And so just look over. You can email me or text me any concerns you may have and let us know. But I'll keep on trying so we get it done.
So, not to be ignorant, Doug, not knowing nothing about this airport stuff. So is F-39A Daryl's?
Let me look.
F-39B.
Here is Daryl's. If you take Daryl, what we're trying to buy is all of this.
With the lines.
He owns this too.
Right.
But
This is the collapsed.
the collapse goes from here to here.
Right.
And this is the one that is not collapsed. So 39A is non-collapsed.
Oh,
That's it.
That's his.
okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So my question is he gonna move the equipment out of there?
We've provided, and I can tell you it's not finalized, we've provided that he has to move that out and to meet some requirements within a certain time period. We clean it up and then rebuild it.
And I can find it.
He's gonna rebuild?
Yes.
I assume like the lease to meet the FAA requirements.
Yes,
It's
yes.
gotta be planes, it's not toy sheds.
Right. It says
Right.
primarily for, just like all of them. that we buy,
That's what I thought. I didn't-
primarily aviation purposes.
Thank you. Cool. Moving.
So we just need to move to approve this contingent upon,
Contingent on their approval too, and, or you can wait and ratify it afterwards. I think if you can approve it and authorize the mayor to sign it if it isn't changed.
Because we're under kind of a
We
time window. where-
Right, I don't disagree with that, but I think we could even have to do it, in March. It will have it before the March deadline, hopefully, but you can do it if you wanted to, have it approval under the terms and conditions out.
So would you want two motions, one for the purchase and one for the lease?
No, make a motion to approve the purchase and the two leases attached to it.
Make a motion to approve the purchase agreement with the town of Wheatland and Daryl Steinhausen and the subsequent two leases, and authorizing the mayor to sign said document.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 4 is to accept the solid waste transportation service agreement, which is in front of you.
So Mayor, I advertised for bids for the trash hauling. We advertised for our required 2 weeks, and we only received one bid from Superior Contracting.
Thank you for clarifying. That's one of my questions. Thank you. Make a motion, we approve the solid waste transportation service agreement between Town of Wheatland and Superior Contracting.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
So the yellows, is that
Yellows,
increase from the last agreement?
Yep.
Is this
that's
the,
an increase of $250 per load.
is this the third agreement with them now?
Yes, correct. And I'll tell you, Superior's just been excellent to work with. They're really good working with the sanitation crew and all of that. Really good to work.
Fighting economics.
Been moved and seconded for approval of the solid waste transportation service agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have before you a resolution. Resolution is number 2-2024, and it's to support the mineral royalty grant.
And this is for the water tower.
This is for the water tower.
Make a motion to approve resolution 02-2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
So Candy, this grant is just clarifying, I know you gave me my notes, but just, this is in the chance that our WWDC funding comes in at the 43% funding. This is to
Correct.
help with the shortfall.
Yes.
If they would give us 67%, we can adjust this back.
We would amend our request. Or totally withdraw the application.
Well, we got mentioned in the State of the Union address by
Yeah, that's what I heard. Take whatever help we can get.
So all in favor of resolution number 2-2024 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You also have in front of you a cost proposal for the landfill monitoring from Tri-Hydro for the 2024 year, or contract, I guess.
So in the agreement, she did kind of go through and explain where they went up and where they went down throughout the agreement. But they have done our monitoring since we closed the landfill. Actually, they were the engineers on the closing of the landfill. They go out there quarterly.
It's not greatly different from what it's been in the past, is it?
It's lower than 2022. Necessary evils.
And any of you been out there, I guess, really, and seen the landfill? You'd never know it was a landfill.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Andy said you have just 22 more years left of this bond.
Oh, just 22 more years?
No big deal.
Make a motion to approve the cost proposal for the 2024 environmental monitoring and reporting contract with Tri-Hydro. Tri-Hydro.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. New business item number 7 is the SRE for the airport. We received a bid for the snow removal equipment at the airport. And after having a meeting with the operators of said equipment and looking at the logistics and the cost aspect of that piece of equipment and the scope of its use, I would recommend that we reject the bid for that piece of snow removal equipment at the airport. And so I would need a motion to further discuss, a motion to reject the bid for the snow removal equipment at the airport.
I make a motion, we reject the bid for the snow removal equipment for the airport.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further comments or questions that we can address?
it just doesn't fit our needs, isn't that?
Yeah.
So it's of record, so if they come back, we have something in the public.
Need to amend that?
No.
No, we're just having discussion, I just want to clear it up.
The discussion is the cost per use basis and the practicality of the machine and the purpose-built nature of the machine for the limited use that it's going to see, just, it's not practical for the price tag that's associated with it. It's a tough one, because of the constraints put on you with the bid process of what that has to look like, and it's just not cost effective in any way, shape, or form for the town of Wheatland to have a dedicated piece of equipment with limited use in that price tag. Because at the end of the day, that piece of equipment is dedicated to the airport only, and cannot be used anywhere else within the town of Wheatland except at the airport. And you're talking north of $500,000 for a glorified oversized garden tractor.
And it's tough because you have to make $500,000 decision that's still gonna cost us almost $46,000,
48,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
$58,000 to say no, but it's the right business decision to do. Why waste all that federal money and it's just sitting out there? The mower on attachment, I couldn't even do, if we could take it off that premises anywhere, it wouldn't even be benefit to us anyways.
So if there's no further discussion, all in favor of rejecting the bid signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel reasons.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Alan, maybe.
Thank you.
See you, good seeing you.